In this video, I'll show you how to make a kale salad that is tender, delicious, and full of potential and nutrients. With one simple and slightly awkward secret, you'll learn how to make kale salads just like the ones that you've had in restaurants. I've made this as a cook in restaurants and at home hundreds of times, and today I bring it to you. I hope that you'll enjoy making and eating this one just as much as I do. To make this salad, you'll need one or more bunches of kale, a bowl for washing, extra virgin olive oil, and a clean kitchen towel. And as an optional ingredient, a lack of self-consciousness, which I'll explain in a minute. But first, let's take a look at what we're not going to buy. One of these pre-packaged kale salad deals. Let's take a look why. So inside of here, we're going to have some stem pieces that they've just chopped up and left inside of our salad mix. No bueno. You can pick those out by hand, but that is not great. Who wants to do that? The rest of this kale is fine. It's kind of shredded into small pieces, but you're going to find all those stem pieces in there. You don't want that. Those taste super bitter. They're not fun to eat, and you have to peel every single tiny one off. It's like blending up a whole smoothie and then trying to take one ingredient out. It's not going to happen. It's not cool. So we bought a whole bunch of kale so that we could do this very thing right here, is to strip the leaves away from the stems. And it's as simple as that, grabbing the base of the stem with one of your hands, and with your stronger hand, your dominant hand, making an OK symbol, and just running your fingers through. And that's it, just pull that stem out. If there's a tiny bit left, you can pull that out manually, but for the most part, it's going to be a very, very quick and simple process. We can put this directly into our bowl, and by the time I'm done here, I'll be taking it over to the sink just to give that a rinse and wash it. Now that we're at the sink, I'm just filling this bowl to the brim with cold tap water. A quick note on using hot or cold tap water when cooking. I never use hot tap water, even for boiling water, because there's studies that show that there's a chemical reaction that takes place within the pipes that deposit chemicals into your water and deliver it into your body as you eat your food. So cold tap water is the way to go, much, much safer. Now that this is full, we can just swish it around here, and if you decided to do a bunch of kale, actually more than one bunch of kale, literally 2, 3, 4 or more bunches of kale at once, you can use your entire sink to do this washing process. Just make sure that you wash out your sink before you do it so you're not depositing all of that lovely bacteria into your food. This is simple, that's all we needed to do, just kind of swish it off. And at this point, I'll be pulling this out and putting it onto my towel. Okay, I laid my towel out on the edge of the sink here, and I'm going to be pulling the kale directly out here, getting as much excess water off as possible, and then putting it directly on the towel. Now, if you have a salad spinner, this would be the time to use it. I personally don't, and I have a lack of self-consciousness and a joy for letting my neighbors see me doing something really funny, which I'll show you in just a moment. Now I just grab my towel by the four corners, gather them up, and you can come join me outside. Okay, now that I'm outside with my kale wrapped up in the towel here, I'm going to do the part that is going to require a little bit of bravery on your part and a lack of self-consciousness. But it's a serious rock star move. I do this on a frequent basis, and I have no idea what my neighbors think about me. There's one right there. I wonder what kind of thoughts were going through her head. So, I have kale that's been well dried out. Slight bit of moisture on there, but nothing to write home about. I used to work at a restaurant in Davis, California, and I always did this out in the back alley, and man, good times there. That was like at 8 in the morning. I wonder what kind of things people were thinking as I was out there swinging a towel full of kale around. You know what I'm saying? You're asking yourself, why would I have to do that with a towel outside and look really crazy? Of course you can buy a salad spinner. I've just never been able to bring myself to do it. I just, for some reason, really take pleasure in the fact that my neighbors are watching me do something crazy like this. You can also do it in your backyard or someplace a little more private, but you know. Okay, now that we're back inside, I'm gonna dry my bowl out so I don't have any excess water in here. Here's a tip for salads. Water is the enemy of good salad. Commit that to memory. Water is the enemy of good salads. Let's open up our little pouch here. And like I said, water is the enemy, so we're gonna get rid of any excess water that's on these leaves here just by patting it dry. But this is, honestly, this is in the range of acceptability. If it was dripping wet and there was like tons of water just falling off, that would be bad news. Here, we're in the totally fine range. And now you can choose the size of bites that you'd like to chew in your salad. I usually do roughly 1 inch by 1 inch, 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch pieces. This is gonna get more tenderized, and so it's gonna be smaller when we're actually eating it. But I don't want to chew on quite that big of a piece in my salad, so I'm just going to pull that in half. But this is all by hand, just super, super quickly. If you miss a piece, no worries. And I just like to go through and break it down into the sizes that I want to eat later. Now we have our washed, dried, and bite-sized pieces of kale ready to go, and we're going to eat a salad. No, stop right there. False. That's where everybody goes wrong. What about the olive oil that I talked about? We gotta use this. This is the key. This is the secret, you guys. And I'm gonna use about 2 tablespoons or so. Maybe a little more, maybe 3. What do you think about that? 3 tablespoons? Yes, that is correct. And now I'm gonna do the slightly awkward part of massaging. We call it massaging the kale. There's not too many culinary activities that include massaging your food item. But here we are massaging the kale. And look at that, immediately it went from that kind of pale, powdery green look to this really dark, rich, vibrant look. And this is doing 2 things. Well, actually, just really one, it's tenderizing it, but the way that we're doing it is by breaking down the cell walls that divide a bunch of the water from the other parts of the plant inside of it. We're breaking those cell walls down and we're actually releasing a little bit of the internal moisture that's in there. So cell walls are being broken down, and that's just gonna make this entire thing way, way, way more tender. It's almost like, don't think of this in a gross way. Don't think of this in a gross way like baby food, but we're like pre-chewing it. That's gross. Not like baby bird status. Don't think about it that way. We're just like making it softer so that you can really, really enjoy it by the time you get there. It's not gonna taste pre-chewed at all. It's just gonna taste tender and wonderful. From here, you can go a million directions. The simplest being a tiny bit of salt. Maybe adding from there a little bit of lemon juice or lime juice. From there, a delicious Caesar dressing that I will show you how to make someday. And from there, only you can decide how delicious your kale salads are gonna be from here on out. Enjoy. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to my channel. If you would like to learn more cooking tips and secrets, head over to patreon.com/tabula. And if you're interested in learning how to cook like a chef, check out my course, The Recipe Free Cook, at tabula.cooking.